Hey guys, happy June, and guess what? Next week is Christmas. No, seriously, though. If you saw me think about it, I can't believe it's already June, right? But first we have to get through hurricane season first before we can hit Christmas. But yeah, I can't believe this year is already like almost halfway over. It's crazy, right? So I just wanted to jump on here real quick and remind you guys that it is hurricane season. Yes, it started 2 days ago. So you should have already had all your crap together for hurricane season 2 days ago. Yeah. So let's review. Things that we need for hurricane season. Well, where should we start? Let's start with protecting our home. So what do we need? We need things to go over the windows, right? Well, we all know what is in short supply. Plywood. Also, there's a little ripple in the metals market right now, and metal is used to make the hurricane shutters. So get that stuff now. Don't wait. Don't wait until like the first named storm is on its way to your house. Don't wait. You know why? Because everybody else is doing that. So heed my advice. Go to the store this weekend and start getting your stuff to cover your windows. If it's plywood and you can't afford all 10 of your windows right now, buy 1 or 2 sheets each week. Hey guys, stop. Yeah, so my son, look at these little cute little babies. Isn't he cute? Yeah, he rescued three pit bull puppies. Come to find out they're a little inbred, so they're gonna be a little special. This is Beaner. Anyway, don't wait because everybody else is waiting. So you want to go and you want to get that stuff now. And I understand that you don't have $900 to spend on plywood to cover your windows, but if you buy a little bit at a time, you will have what you need and you're not going to be rushed at the last minute. Now remember, plywood usually runs out right before a hurricane because everybody is trying to get it. And that is when there was no issues with the supply chain, guys. So just think about how it's going to go now, right? Because we have issues with the supply chain. You go to the store, I mean, I've been to Lowe's where there was no plywood at all. And I mean, it's like $68 to $100 a sheet now, depending on which one you get. Same thing with the hurricane shutters. Those are gonna start to go here soon too. So you wanna make sure, my puppies are, so you wanna make sure that you get that stuff now. Don't wait, because when you need it, it may not be there. Next up, gas. So you have a category 4 that's barreling down, headed right to you. Everybody and their brother is trying to leave the state. And gas lines, right? Well, I mean, it would like truly suck if it just so happened that they hacked a gas line again. Same time that everybody's trying to get out of the state. I mean, you could have told me like 3 years ago that it would be impossible to, or very unlikely that a gas line would be hacked and there would be gas shortages. And I could have been like, yeah, I kind of agree. But now, I mean, we know it happens. So get your gas now. There are, if you can't get a hold of ethanol-free gas, which holds so much longer than your typical gas, your 87, your 89, your 91s. You can get a gas stabilizer to put in with your gas in that 5-gallon gas can. Make sure it's a gas can, not a plastic bucket, not Walmart bags, guys. Come on, let's use some brains here. But you can get the gas stabilizer to put in there, and it will prolong the efficiency of how the gas is going to perform. And then after hurricane season, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and use up the gas that you didn't use during hurricane season to bug out and replace that for the winter. So that way, if you're prone to power outages or you get a deep ice storm and it takes out your state's power grid, I mean, it could happen, right, guys? We've seen it happen. So you would have gas for that generator during that time as well. So just keep that in mind, because you do not want to be stuck on the highway with a Category 4 barreling down on you and you have ran out of gas because you cannot find gas anywhere along the way. So food. You need food. Because we all know that when a hurricane hits, everybody wants to run to the store and buy bread and milk and cheese and meat and Doritos. So make sure that you have food on hand. Your best bet is canned food, non-perishable. If you can't afford it, I would go ahead and get long-term food storage. That way you're only buying it once and you're not buying it year after year after year, because you go ahead and consume it before it goes bad, right? Like you would your bread, your milk, or whatever. I would, if you can afford it, after you've bought the stuff to put on your windows, after you bought your gas in case you have to bug out, I would go ahead and get a long-term food storage. Last 25 years. So you're buying food, emergency food for the hurricane one time, and it's going to carry you for the next 25 years because that's the shelf life of it. So if you don't have to use it this year, you know you have it for next year, or you know you have it for another emergency. But if you cannot afford the storage food, because it does cost a little bit more than, well, it does cost more than what a can of beans does or a can of soup or whatever, then I highly recommend you go and get your canned foods, put it in a tote, put it away, put it in the back of the closet, and have it for hurricane season. What else do you need for hurricane season? Medicines, because you know the doctor's office is not going to be open during a hurricane. They have families too, and they probably want to bug out as well. So I would have at least 2 weeks or to a month worth of medicines to carry you over. I don't know if you guys remember Gene and Francis back in 2004. You had Francis hit, and 2 weeks later Gene hit, and so people were without power for up to a month. People were not able to get to the doctor's offices. Your prescriptions were not being filled because pharmacies were not open. So look back again there at Texas with the ice storms that just happened. Things were closed. People couldn't get to the stores. The stores were not open. So people, you have to think about this stuff. So make sure you have enough medication. Make sure you have a generator, especially if you are on oxygen or your medicine has to be chilled. You want to make sure that you have a generator and enough gas to run that generator just in case you lose power. And it happens. People's power goes out. It really does. It really and truly does. So you want to make sure that you have these things. The government is not going to be there just because you did not prepare. It's going to take a little while for them to show up. Take a look at Katrina. How long did it take for the National Guard to actually get in there and start helping people? It was several days. So for several days, these people were on their own. Don't be one of those people who are not prepared. I'm telling you, you don't want to be in that situation. So what else do you need during hurricane seasons? You need flashlights, you need fuel, you need power, you need a way to cook. So make sure your propane tanks are filled. Make sure you have plenty of charcoal for your charcoal grill. Make sure you have plenty of propane for your camp stove. And camp stove is just a little bitty stove that you put it on the table outside. Remember, people, we do not use any propane, charcoal, generator, anything like that inside your house. We do not do that. So, camp stove, you put it outside on a table outside, and you would cook outside, guys. And those typically take the little canisters. They're about this tall. Green, you find them in the camping aisle of propane. So that's a good way to cook as well. But make sure you have all your propane bottles topped off and filled up. What else do we need for hurricane season? If you have babies, make sure you have plenty of things for your babies. You want your formulas and your diapers and your wipes. Remember, people went crazy, absolutely lost their noggins and bought all the wipes and the toilet paper last year because we had a pandemic, and I don't think diarrhea was one of the symptoms. But, you know, some people thought that they couldn't rip up a t-shirt and wipe their butts. I don't know, guys. So make sure that you have plenty of things for your babies and children's medicine. So you want to make sure that you have your children's Tylenol, your children's Motrin, whatever you're going to do. Bleach and peroxide. You want plenty of that. So after the hurricane, and a lot of times mold starts to develop. So bleach helps with that, and so does peroxide. Let's see, what else do we need for hurricane season? Make sure you get yourself a little box, preferably waterproof box, so you can keep all your important documents like your title to your home and your birth certificates and your insurance papers and all those other important papers that you need to identify who you are and to prove that your property belongs to you. Because if you have to bug out and upon coming back in, sometimes only residents are allowed in, and you need to prove that that piece of property does belong to you. So you want to make sure that you take any appropriate documentation with you, along with the insurance paperwork on your home. In case there's any damage, you need to contact the insurance agency, that you have all that information. You want to make sure that so when you are leaving your home, that you bring that paperwork with you, and you want to make sure that you have communications set up to where you can get in touch with family members, and family members can get in touch with you, so they know where you are headed at all times, where you're going. Just keep in contact with them, because really and truly, I mean, there's nothing worse than wondering where a loved one is during a hurricane. So if you plan on bugging out to a location that is near your home but more safe, so you're going to go to a facility, make sure that you have what you need to abide by those rules of the facility. A lot of times they do not include pets, and if you do have a pet, and it's a service dog, make sure you have all that paperwork for that puppy as well. Because I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to show that it is a legit service dog. It's just not your little puppy that give you warm and fuzzies. That doesn't always count, guys. Make sure it's a legit service dog. You have the paperwork for that. You have his shot records, because they're gonna want to see that stuff. Make sure you have plenty of food for your puppies and your kitties and your birds and your chickens and everything else, right? But just keep in mind that those facilities generally do not take animals, and so you need to make sure that you have a backup plan for your animals during a hurricane. Let's see, what else? What else do we need for hurricanes? I should have probably wrote a whole list, but I just totally forgot. NOAA weather radio. Because during a hurricane, a lot of times your cell phone is going to go down. The towers fall. They lose communication. Cell phones don't always work. So you want to make sure you have a good weather radio and plenty of batteries for it. You can buy the hand crank ones, so it just, that's how it like gets going, as you hand crank it. And also you can get some with a little solar panel on it, so you can charge your phone. So that way you can play solitaire. If you are getting a reception, then you can make phone calls that way as well. Call for help if you need help and after hurricane has passed. Because remember, guys, if you live in an evacuation zone and it's a mandatory evacuation, after the winds hit like 40 miles an hour over those bridges, they will not come to your area, and you will have to wait until the hurricane passes until you get any type of help. So there again, if you're in a mandatory evacuation zone, you might want to heed those warnings to evacuate. I understand if you have lots of fur babies and you can't take them with you, and you think your house is going to be okay, just remember that you will not receive any help unless it's safe for them to come and help you. So make sure you just want that weather radio so you can keep up with what's going on even after the hurricane passes. They give updates, especially if you lose power and you don't have cable and your phone's not working. How do you know there's not another hurricane that's just right on its heels? Take a look at 2004 Gene and Francis. Within 2 weeks, same area got 2 hurricanes. Both of them, I think, were like a category 2. So, yeah. Anyway, I think that's all I can remember at this point. But I just wanted to jump on here real quick and remind you guys to start preparing now. Look at the meat, what happened with the meat packaging plant there. JBS that just got hacked. You don't know who's next. So, I mean, prepare. Get prepared, guys. And I'm not trying to be a fear monger or anything like that, but hurricane season comes around every year, guys. This is nothing new. This is not like, oh, it's never happened before. No, guys, it does happen like every year. Somewhere in the United States get hit by a major hurricane. So it's a yearly thing. So we know this is coming. Get prepared. But I'm telling you, it's not going to get any worse. I mean, it's not going to get any better. It's just going to get worse. With inflation, it's better now to buy plywood now instead of waiting until August, because who knows how much it's going to be come August. So that plywood, that's $70 now, you're going to go back in August and it might be $100. And now, I mean, that's if you can find it, because everybody else is looking for it. So you want to do this stuff now. Don't wait, guys. Don't wait. Until next time, I hope you guys have a good weekend. Stay oily and keep prepping, guys.